Welcome to the Cast Off. This is the #1 recasting show on the internet where two contestants compete by recasting your favorite shows with favorite actors in movies you love. My name is Craig Price, and tonight we're going to Beantown and watching two cops walk different paths in The Departed. And you got to say it just like that, The Departed. From our competitors today, from the Celtic Ray Filmworks, we have the great Richard Jensen. And from Movies That Make Us, we have the great Tracy Mangum. How are you guys going today?
I'm hanging in there, sir. We're doing all right. We're getting ready to start work on the next short. Meanwhile, my two shorts that are currently on Amazon Prime, Cuck and You Think You're... No, not You Think You're Better Than Me. Beware of the Bada Book are available for both sale and rental if you want to go down there. Give them a purchase. Also, a number of my shorts have been shown in the last couple of months.
That sounds weird. Hold on a second. Back that up. When you say your shorts have been shown, you have to say video or film shorts. Just don't say your shorts, because then it sounds like Japanese businessmen are paying extra money to see your shorts live on film. So these are video shorts that you have done through your Patreon.
I cannot sanction this buffoonery, but yes, they are comedy shorts, and they've been showing at the Pack Theater during their Wednesday night shows. Go Sketch Yourself, where anybody can submit anything to, if you've got a character or a short sketch that you want to do, you can do it there. And they've been nice enough to let me show some of my work. Well, we know that Richard Jensen needs no help to plug away. He started even with even saying hello. So Tracy, what's been going on with you guys with the Movies That Make Us? Because I see a lot of different things happening over there.
Yeah, we've got all sorts of different things. We haven't done a theme for a while. It's just kind of been a random come and grab. And our latest we did was March of the Penguins.
Oh, March of the... So what's May look like? Do you have a theme for May, or no? You're just hoping...
I don't think so. I got to touch base with the team. It's been a little weird. Val's been traveling, doing a bunch of cons and stuff.
Yeah, she's got a great new job. It's wonderful.
Got a good gig. Yeah, happy for her.
Totally totes jelly, as the kids say.
Yeah, she got to go up to Alberta, Canada.
Yeah, she was in Calgary. She was in Philadelphia. She's doing all the places. Good for her. Any marathons or half marathons in the works?
I signed up for the Dopey again in January, so we'll see how that goes.
Okay. Well, just knowing that you are out there exercising and I am not makes me feel slightly better. I don't know why, but it does. But we've got a great movie for you tonight. But let's get to the rules, because the rules are the most important and they have not changed. That's the great thing, is that when it comes to the cast-off, we like to keep things consistent. I'm going to name an actor, a character from the movie, and our contestants will recast them with an actor throughout all of time and space. Then our judges are going to pick the best choice, and that will get 1 point. I also play along, so if you happen to get my choice, that's a point. And often, and let's be honest, my selections are the best choices. It's just whether you pick that or not is up to you. But sometimes you can get 2 points. So if you feel yourself slipping a little bit, there's always a way to get back into it. Person with the most points wins, and of course, if there's a tie, double feature to win, and we'll talk about that when and if it's necessary. Well, as always, this show is brought to you by our home base matinee heroes. This May, we're focusing on summer fun and continuing with fun, the sci-fi fave, The Fifth Element. You can head over to matineeheroes.com/subscribe, where you can follow the podcast. And you can also hear tonight's post-show exclusively on the audio version of Cast Off every Thursday in the Matinee Heroes feed. And while you're at the site, you can, if you're enjoying the Cast Off, you can subscribe to the video feed at matineeheroes.com/castoff. So let's get wicked dramatic and whatever with The Departed. Richard, you have won the toss. You get to go first. So we're going to start with, little Leo DiCaprio, still young, still fresh-faced, playing Billy Costigan, a trooper who becomes an undercover cop looking to take down gangster Frank Costello. So who do you have playing, I guess this is the beginning of Scorsese's love affair with DiCaprio. Who do you have playing Billy Costigan?
Well, this was a particularly tough cast because, again, we're dealing with Boston, so we couldn't get too diverse with it because,
What are you saying about Boston, my home area?
Gee, what am I saying that hasn't been said by everybody? But I went with a good Irish American actor. I went with Adrian Quinn.
Adrian Quinn. I had to go look for some young ones for him because he was a solid 80s heartthrob, as we saw in Desperately Seeking Susan. He made appearances in The Mission with De Niro. He played Johnny Depp's brother in Benny and June. He was great in Avalon, and I know my wife really likes him in Practical Magic. Why do you think he'd be a good spot for this? Besides he's being Irish.
He's Irish. He's fresh-faced, but you get the sense that he's got the rough and tumble about him. He can handle himself in tough situations, which this film is basically front-loaded with.
Yes, you definitely have to have that Southie feel to you, and that's a very specific feel. So, Tracy, who do you have to go against Adrian Quinn?
So I went with somebody that, no matter how old he gets, he's always seems to be fresh-faced. He hasn't done a lot of film work, but mostly TV, but a very, very interesting actor. I went with Freddie Highmore.
You want to talk about fresh-faced? Nobody gets more fresh-faced than him. He is known for the crying bench meme. Yes, that's little baby Freddie Highmore. From Finding Neverland, he played a great young Norman Bates in The Bates Motel. He not only stars in The Good Doctor, executive produces The Good Doctor, he has written episodes and directed episodes. So it's really a nice little school for Hollywood for him. He's done a great job of using The Good Doctor as a way to learn all the skills you need to be a long-term entertainment person. He was Charlie in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory with the, once again, ill-fated Johnny Depp, and played multiple characters in the Spiderwick Chronicles. And every time I see him, he's 55 years old in this picture, and look how young he is. So we've got Adrian Quinn, Freddie Highmore. The judges thought it over and went, it's Boston, you got to go Irish. Yeah. Richard Jensen for the point. Well, I went with Paul Newman because I wanted to go some old school, and I think he's a good-looking guy, young. But I'm thinking of casting this in the 50s and 60s because I know you guys were lamenting the fact that this is a very difficult recast. It is one of the best casted Scorsese movies, and so the best way for me to rationalize how to recast this movie would be to go back in time because right now you would just get the same people again. So I went back in time. So now we have Boston's favorite son, Matt Damon, as Colin Sullivan. So a cop who gets corrupted by Frank Costello, the Southie gangster. So this is where the departure comes from. One becomes an undercover cop. This guy kind of becomes a cop on the take a little bit. So Tracy, who do you have replacing Boston's own Matt Damon?
So I didn't go Boston, I didn't go Irish, but I went with someone who is definitely familiar with the gangster genre, somebody who has been known to deal with the rough and tumble. He's one of my favorite actors. I went with Aaron Paul.
Aaron Paul, yes, absolutely. Known for making meth, bitches! Obviously from Breaking Bad, which is going to be a theme today. BoJack Horseman, he's really good in BoJack Horseman. They put him in the last season of Westworld. And then his movie career has not gone as well as we'd like, but I think that's more, he's not really looking to do much. It's all up to him. Need for Speed and Eye in the Sky, that drone movie with Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
So that leaves us with young Richard Jensen. Who do you have to go up against Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad?
Well, this was actually fairly easy once I realized who do I substitute for Matt Damon, and then I realized Jesse Plemons.
Jesse, yeah.
Meth Damon.
That's right. Known for being Meth Damon from Breaking Bad. He was also in Black Mass, which is also based on Frank Costello, who's based on Whitey Bulger. So that's the Johnny Depp version of the Whitey Bulger story. He was great as the creepy cop in Game Night. Then he plays a weird German in Jungle Cruise, and I thought he did a really good job of that. And, of course, just recently nominated for supporting actor in The Power of the Dog. Yeah.
The role that kind of keyed me in was his role in as the FBI agent in Judas and the Black Messiah.
Oh yeah,
which was that's the film about the assassination of the Black Panther chairman Fred Hampton. Which, by the way, if you have not yet seen, I think it's still on HBO Plus.
It's very good, very good.
Not HBO Plus, HBO Max, but it's really outstanding.
Oh, absolutely. And Jesse Plemons is also outstanding. So it's interesting that you, Aaron Paul from Breaking Bad and Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad. So we are basically, you have decided that The Departed should be a TV movie because this is not the last time we're going to see Breaking Bad people. And the judges decided, and they went with the easy pick of Meth Damon. Just replace Matt with meth, and there you go. But Aaron Paul's just as good. I went with Robert Redford. So if you're going to go with Paul Newman as the good guy, Robert Redford as the good-looking, somewhat going bad guy, I think, especially this young, I'm looking for 25-year-old Newman and Redford. Because now Redford looks like a saddlebag with eyes, so it's hard to find a non-wrinkled.
Is that from the Twilight Zone episode he did?
I have no idea. All I do is Google Robert Redford young. See, my Google searches are really weird when it comes to this because I'm afraid if I ever have a heart attack and die while I'm doing a PowerPoint for this, that people are going to look up my internet search and like, girls in their 20s who are goth. And it's like, why is that? It's like, oh, he's doing the family values. Adam's family values again. It's really weird. I don't know where this is from, but it's him at 25 years old. Well,
incognito window is your friend. That
yes.
and VPNs.
and you saying that makes it creepier. So next we have the bad guy, Frankie Costello, played by legendary actor Jack Nicholson. And Frank, as we have already said, is based on notorious Boston gangster Whitey Bulger. Richard, who do you have playing the big bad guy?
I needed somebody who could be menacing, but with kind of a twinkle in his eye, and you got to go William Defoe for that.
William Defoe, who's really nice, and we call him William DeFriend. Of course, he's known as being creepy AF. Loved him in the Spider-Man movies, including the most recently No Way Home, which he's fantastic in. Boondock Saints, where he is in Boston and going crazy. Shadow the Vampire, which they want him for Nosferatu, which is very ironic since he's playing Nosferatu in Shadow of the Vampire. It's crazy. John Carter, and just saw him in The Northman, which if you like to see tall Nordic naked men fight, that's the movie for you. So that leaves Tracy. Who do you have to go up against Willem Dafoe, who's a great choice, a rock solid guy for a bad guy?
That is a great choice. I'm with Richard here. I needed somebody who could be menacing, but yet still had some charisma to him, somebody that you actually kind of want to root for in a way, even though he's a terrible person. I went with somebody that I think could pull it off. I went with Denzel Washington.
Well, you were much more progressive than the people of Boston, but he is known for King Kong not having much on him because he was in Training Day, Glory, Remember the Titans, The Equalizer, and most recently The Tragedy of Macbeth, which he was nominated for.
That's a goodie. That's
a very good one. Historically, that wouldn't fly in Boston, but you know what? We don't care. We want the best actor.
It's my movie.
Yeah, it's your movie. So absolutely. So we have William Dafoe, Denzel Washington, and despite what anybody in Boston thinks, Denzel Washington would be awesome as the crime leader. And so that is Tracy on the board for the first point. So that's 1-2.
I'll take that.
Yeah. I went with Marlon Brando. 1972, The Last Tango, Marlon Brando, because this is right before he started doing the Godfather. But this look right here is the look before he ballooned to be 7,000 pounds, but also he's got the intimidation, to get the wariness. He kind of looks like Jack Nicholson's character in The Departed, wearing that bucket hat and the frizzy hair and whatever. Well, next we get smart mouth Sean Dignam, played by Marky Mark Wahlberg. So Tracy, I believe it is yours. Who do you have? Who do you have playing? Oh, and then of course we have. This always happens with Richard. He always flakes out and turns the camera off and switches everything. So now I have to go back.
Sorry about that. I was trying to hit the mute button.
Don't touch anything. So now we have everything swapped again for the second episode in a row, Richard. Thank you so much. So this is not Richard Jensen if you're just tuning in. This is Tracy Morgan, Tracy Mangum. Tracy, who do you have playing the smart mouth Dingham?
So in my opinion, this is the least effective actor cast in this film, Scorsese's film.
You mean Mark is the least effective actor in this movie?
Out of this group, yeah.
He's good. Of actual actors?
He's good, but I don't know. This is one that I felt like they could have done a little bit better job. So I went with Daniel Day-Lewis on this one.
Now this one threw our judges because this came out of nowhere, out of left
Yeah.
field. Let's replace Marky Mark with the pinnacle of acting that is Daniel Day-Lewis.
I like to mix things up.
Oh, there's no more mixing this up. This is like yin and yang. This is black and white. This is gravity and anti-gravity. Of course, he was in There Will Be Blood, which is phenomenal. Gangs of New York, Lincoln, Last of the Mohicans, My Left Foot. There really isn't anybody much better than Daniel Day-Lewis. So that's odd that you have replaced Marky Mark with the single greatest actor of our time. But we'll see what, not Tracy Mangum, but what Richard Jensen has to go up against. So,
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Well, I went kind of in a different direction because
you went in a totally different direction. There's no other direction
yeah.
you can go in besides Daniel Day-Lewis is totally different than Daniel Day-Lewis. Go ahead.
this is true. But my feeling is Wahlberg's basically playing a loudmouth Southie a-hole. So I decided to replace him with an actual loudmouth Southie a-hole. I went with Bill Burr.
Ah, yes. Boston native Bill Burr, known for his blunt stand-up comedy. Funny. I love him to death. He's great because he's the only guy I know that purposely starts in a hole. He'll say something outrageous and controversial at the front, and by the end of his bit, you're kind of agreeing with him and you're definitely laughing. But also from Breaking Bad, also from Date Night. So apparently we're starting to get an insight to what Richard Jensen's been watching. He wasn't in Heat. He was in The Heat, The King of Staten Island, and, of course, The Mandalorian. So we have... Yeah, The Mandalorian, where he actually showed that he can act. That was really good. So we have Daniel Day-Lewis, Bill Burr.
It's Bill Burr.
Yeah, it's got to be Bill Burr because Daniel Day-Lewis is crazy. It was the craziest pick. It was we're still confused. I will say that the judge, it was Elizabeth Rapp who said this. She liked the moxie of that pick, even though she didn't like the pick. She's like,
thank you.
Basically, she said if you were in Boston, they'd be like, look at the balls on this guy, is what she said. So I went
Wait, can we?
Yes, we can say that.
Can we say ball?
Well, it's too late. We already said that, yes. But balls are fine. It's the F words and the other words. But I went with a young Richard Harris because Irish, angry, sarcastic, and I just love him. I think he'd be perfect at that with the rest of the group that I've collected. Well, now we have the perennial father figure that always Martin Sheen plays as Captain Queenan. And so, Richard, who do you have playing a role that's basically custom built for Martin Sheen?
Well, this was a tough one. But I wanted somebody who who had an older authoritarian thing going for him. So I went with Sterling Hayden.
Ah, yes, that's right. Yeah, Sterling Hayden is, for those of you who don't know, is a decorated war hero, but he was also in The Godfather, 9 to 5, which we did here at the Matinee Heroes, where he plays the owner of the company. At the very end, he's very much the Colonel Sanders who shows up at the last minute. But he was great in noir movies like The Asphalt Jungle, The Killing, and he was also in Dr. Strangelove. So now that I've got this all backwards, Tracy, who do you have playing Captain Queenan?
So I also wanted somebody who could give the kind of fatherly feel. I went with a very strong actor in Donald Sutherland.
Absolutely. Ooh. Very strong. Donald is one of the greatest authoritative baddies that you can get, though in this movie he would be the authoritative goody.
Good guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which he can also play. He can also play that father figure as well. He was in the Hunger Game movies, MASH, the original movie, Invasion of the Body Snatchers, where you see in that meme where he's just pointing at people.
I have that 4K.
You have that in 4K, which you say Criterion Collection. I'm going to get you disqualified from this.
No. It's actually Kino Lorber.
Okay.
Has that disc.
Well, he's also in Ordinary People in JFK. Now, we had these backwards, so it was my fault. So we have Sterling Hayden, Donald Sutherland. The judges conferred, and they kind of knew who Sterling Hayden was, but they went with Donald Sutherland. And Tracy gets the point, 2 to 3. I went with Carl Malden, because Carl Malden is one of those guys that I feel is, a good old detective captain type who could be the fatherly figure. We've seen him be a priest on the waterfront, but so I kind of went old school, and I think Richard's smiling because I'm finally hit his sweet spot of actors. But now we move on to every gangster needs a good psycho henchman, and Ray Winstone plays Frenchie perfectly. I like Frenchie because one of the reasons he won't beat the crap out of Billy is because Billy's grandma was nice to him once. Because they're all from the neighborhood, and they all know each other. So I think it's Tracy's turn. So,
yes.
Tracy, who do you have playing Frenchie or Mr. French?
So my choice is going to be obvious as to what I have been rewatching lately, but I wanted somebody who could pull off the kind of menacing psycho gangster. I wanted to go with a younger Jonathan Banks. I've been watching a lot of Better Call Saul. So,
well, I went with the older Jonathan Banks because I think he looks great in this, but he was the quintessential that guy 80s henchman. So we all know him as Mike
Armentrout.
Armentrout, yes. I can't always say his last name is Trout, but we know him as Mike. But he was also in Gremlins as a cop. He was in Beverly Hills Cop as a bad guy. He was in Buckaroo Banzai as a cop, and he was in Airplane, the original Airplane, stupid movie. So he's been around for a long time. It's nice to see him have his second career with Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. All right, so that leaves Richard. Richard, who do you have to be the bad guy henchman?
Well, I wanted somebody, again, who would be comfortable in a Boston milieu, who could be tough and intimidating. So I went with Robert Mitchum.
Nice. Robert Mitchum, yes. He's a legendary tough guy, so he's perfect for this. So out of the past, we've done with him before on the Matinee Heroes. You can go to matineeheroes.com and check out the archives when we did Feb Noir-ary, and he was one of our noir movies. But he was also in Cape Fear, both of them. El Dorado. Took a funny turn in Scrooged and was in Night of the Hunter.
And I should point out that I actually keyed off of him in his film, The Friends of Eddie Coyle, which is a 1972 Boston crime drama, which, by the way, is available on the Criterion Channel.
And with that, you have been disqualified, and the game is over. No.
Winning.
We've got Jonathan Banks. We've got Robert Mitchum. Two great tough guys. Judges decided Jonathan Banks.
Ooh.
I went with good times, old guy, Rod Steiger with hair. Because Rod Steiger without hair looks freaky. But Rod Steiger from Heat of the Night, I think he has that perfect look. Well, now we get to the end. And we have Alec Baldwin as the quotable Captain Elby, who's only there to be funny. I mean, who really doesn't need to be in the movie, but he kind of does to kind of temper all the violence and everything that's going on. And so, Richard, who do you have playing the very quotable Captain Elby?
Well, I had to go with somebody who is from Boston and who can be kind of loudmouth and profane. I went with Ben Affleck.
All right. Well, yes, he's J-Lo's side piece, soon-to-be husband, known for Armageddon, Good Will Hunting, The Town, which was based in Boston, Gone Girl, The Last Duel. Very good actor and director. Tracy.
Yeah, this is, I like my pick, but I think that Richards works better for this role, having seen that slide. I also wanted to go with somebody who could bring a lot of gravitas to the role, somebody who's known to be quotable, somebody who can be loudmouth and profane. I went with Al Pacino.
Al Pacino, absolutely.
Ooh.
And this is going to be rough on my voice, but he's known for hooing. Obviously, he's done Heat, The Godfather, Serpico, Dick Tracy. Those four movies we've all done at Matinee Heroes, but one we're going to do in the future, Scarface. So I think this one in Heat would be perfect because he's a detective in Heat, but he can drop a line like nobody's business. So here we got. It's tied 3-3. We got Ben Affleck, Al Pacino. I went with George Kennedy. So that means we're definitely not going to have a tie today. We are definitely going to have someone win. And who that will be it be Ben Affleck, Boston's beloved Ben Affleck, or Al Pacino? I don't know if people in Boston know Al Pacino from Robert De Niro. Sometimes they get them confused because he's not from Boston. But we will find out right after this as we say, hey, we need subscribers. We always need subscribers, so head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff, and you will see links to all the video feeds. Click on the YouTube link, head over there and subscribe. But more importantly, we have T-shirts. We have official cast-off T-shirts for the first time in a long time. So we've got both a Sonic the Hedgehog edition, and we have the No Way Home cast-off edition, which I am wearing today. It's always good to have that. I'll see if I can. The problem with my setup is I have the squats. I can't do the squats. I'm too old for this. But yes, you can get over to matineeheroes.com/store and pick up one of or two of or as many of the other shirts as we have. So always good to pick up a Matinee Heroes shirt because Fan X is coming, and I'd love to see everyone in Salt Lake wearing one as I walk down the hallways and go, why don't you people listen? Why can't you subscribe? Thanks for buying. I need the money. I'm not kidding. I need the money. All right. So now let's get this over with. We have Beantown's own Ben Affleck. We have one of the greatest actors of his generation, Al Pacino. Will it be The Voyage of the Mimis, Ben Affleck? Or will it be Cruisin's Al Pacino? Richard, you've won before. Tracy, you've won before.
Yes.
And this is going to go down to the wire, but you cannot deny the Boston connection. And Richard Jensen, you are today's winner. And unfortunately, because you had to play with your damn settings, you don't get to go to the winner's circle, but you do have today's final thought. So what is your final thought?
My final thought is I have a Patreon, patreon.com/Celtic Ray Filmworks. If you want to sign on, you help me make the stuff that I make. Plus, you get some free swag. You get some free swag in the process, including a lovely variant poster for my short Cuck, designed by a local Ashland artist. And I think you might. And we got a ton of other stuff too. So check us out. Check out the YouTube channel. I've been posting some more stuff there lately. Just type in Celtic Ray Filmworks in the search bar. Also, my shorts, Cuck and Beware of the Badabook, are available for rental or purchase on Amazon Prime. Please buy or rent them. Daddy needs the money.
Okay. Quick question, though. If we have to pay for your Patreon, they're not really free, are they? The items you get are not free. They're part of a donation. So just want to clarify for the...
Basically...
Yes.
But donation makes it sound like it's a charity.
You said free. You said free. And I want to make sure the we don't get you shut down for lying to people. So yes, donate to the Patreon and you will get
splitting on a molecular level.
Oh, I'm just covering your butt. That's all I'm doing. Sorry for being that guy who helps you out from going to jail. There we go. But hey, we've got more people coming on the show. And this one is going to be a very unique duel as someone the great Elizabeth Rapp from Matinee Heroes here has conned her good friend and is now fighting with Paul Hitchcock to recast a movie they don't even know about yet, and that is Magnolia. Talk about a difficult one. That one is going to be the masterpiece that is Magnolia.
Wow. God!
Yeah. Want to be on the show?
I think Elizabeth just had a stroke.
Yeah, well,
did we just dodge a bullet? We thought The Departed was bad.
Yeah, I know. So quit whining. It could always get worse or better, depending on who you are. But if you want to be a contestant on the Cast-Off, you can head over to matineeheroes.com/castoff/application or email me at mhcastoff@gmail.com. We'd love to have you on. You can follow us on the Cast-Off Show on Twitter. We have a Facebook group, and you can go to matineeheroes.com/castoff to get to the video links, which include twitch.tv/matineeheroes. Special thanks to Elizabeth Rapp, who is going to defend her title next week, and Rob Irvin for judging. Though I will say Elizabeth and I were 6 for 7. We picked everything except for one, and that was the Meth Damon. So Rob Irvin was basically responsible for the Meth Damon pick. But other than that, you can blame him for that. Well, on behalf of Tracy Mangum and today's winner, of course, that is being the ever plugging. I should get you a T-shirt that says "Always be plugging." The always plugging Richard Jensen from the Celtic Ray Filmworks. This is Craig Price, and we'll see you next week on another Cast Off.